Okay, I think y'all can see me, hear me right now. I think. Let me know. We having tech today. Let me know. Let me know if y'all can see me or hear me because I haven't seen anything yet. Okay. I think y'all can see me, hear me so, right now. I think. Let me know. Well, there we go. Okay. So I think we're good over here. And I think we're good over there. And I think we should be fine over here. So it is Media Maverick Monday. It's Media Maverick Monday. It's Media Maverick Monday. It's Media Maverick Monday. Had a little tech issues, but I think we got it all worked out. And Idris, I see that you're here. I meant to text you earlier today to ask you about my girl. So let me know how she's doing. You know who we're talking about without naming names. But I sent her a text yesterday and didn't hear back, and it dawned on me. So I'm seeing you here now, and I just wanted to say, hey, Idris, check on my girl, to give her a hug for me. All right, so if you are new to me, this is TJ Mercer. I am the chief noisemaker of Media Mavericks Academy, which means I teach authors, experts, and coaches how to book themselves in the media without a publicist, without being a celebrity. That's what I do because I spent 20 years working on some of the biggest shows on television. So I've got Instagram. What's up, Instagram? I've got YouTube Live going. So because I'm really trying to get better at making more noise on multiple platforms at one time. But Instagram and YouTube, you can't see the screen, so you're gonna have to just take my word for it. But today we are going to dissect the Tiffany Haddish Emmy answer that I posted on Facebook, and y'all felt some kind of way. Y'all had some strong feelings about this particular answer that she gave during her after Emmy answer after she'd won her Emmy. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm really lit because I was the behind the scenes producer on Night School, and it is number one. It was the number one comedy. It was the number one comedy this round, this past weekend, and I'm really, really happy. It was an honor. It was a privilege to work on Night School with Kevin Hart and Tiffany, and for me, it was a full circle moment of working with Tiff because I used to go support Tiff at the Laugh Factory every Sunday at Chocolate Sundays. I would go to the comedy show and I would go support and just watched her blow up. Like, Girlfriend has been putting it down for years. Tiff ain't new to the scene at all. She has been paying her dues because this was back in 2007 or something like that we would go see her. So then to come full circle, get the opportunity to actually produce and direct her for some behind the scenes featurettes that we were doing for promotion of the film. It was an honor. It was like, and I got to tell her that I used to pray for her. I didn't know her. We weren't friends or anything like that. It was just something about her that I would always just be rooting for her. And so to get to work with her on this set tour that we did, it was really a full circle moment, and I was thrilled about it. And I got to tell her how long I've been praying for her, and the hardest part about working on Night School, a lot of times when behind the scenes wise, it was a cast of pretty much all comedians, almost like all comedians. So they would go on these riffs of just spontaneous, impromptu, you looking at the director like he don't even know when to call cut, because it was like, let them just rip. And when I was directing her in the tour, there were times where I was struggling to not laugh, because as being the director and the producer, you didn't want to actually put yourself out there, and you didn't want to be heard. It needed to be all about Tiff. And so a lot of times it was just like struggling to just hold my breath and not laugh out loud, because she would be, talking to a crew member and introducing us and taking us around the set. And she is hysterical. And it was like, Tiff, I'm struggling here. I remember we did this one bit where she took off. She was supposed to be paying for the crew to have coffee. And just out of nowhere, she took off running down the street. And it was like, Tiff, what are you doing? And so it was just, it was long days, long nights, and, working around Kevin. Kevin, let me tell you something. Let me just tell you about Kevin. Kevin, you can like him, don't like him, think he's funny, don't think he's funny. This has nothing to do with it. Kevin's work ethic is unparalleled. Like, totally unparalleled. Like, there was one particular week where he shot all week. I'll never forget this, because I was like, dude, I don't have that stamina. He shot all week. On a Thursday night around midnight, he sat down and did a quick interview with me, left, got on a plane, because he was doing his Irresponsible tour, left, got on a plane, did 2 shows, one on Friday night, one on Saturday night, then flew. And mind you, he'd been training for a marathon. Then wherever this city was, I think it was Dallas somewhere. It wasn't in New York, because then he left like Saturday night, Sunday morning to fly to New York to run the marathon. Then Sunday afternoon, he flew back to LA to be there with his son, because it was his son's birthday party. And then from there, he flew to Atlanta to be on set on Monday morning on time. That's how beast his work ethic is. So love him, don't like him, don't think it's funny, whatever. You cannot deny his work ethic. It is bar none. And I told this to my email list, another moment that I had with Kevin of kind of seeing who he is as a person. We were shooting late one night, and I was down the hall in a room that no one knew I was in. And all of a sudden I hear him over on the phone, and he was disciplining his son. And it was such the most loving conversation, the most heartwarming conversation, where he was being really firm. He was being really firm with him, but loving him at the same time. He didn't know I was in there. I didn't make a noise. I didn't make a peep, because I didn't want, it to be awkward or anything like that, but I could hear him. And it's like, for me, as long as I've worked in Hollywood, it really boils down to when I work with people and I see them when the cameras are not rolling. That's when you get to see what kind of person he is. And so Kevin was chastising, disciplining his son. The cameras weren't rolling. He didn't think anybody was down there. He wasn't paying attention. Hey, Dr. Sonia. He did. We're talking about my time working on the behind the scenes producer for Night School with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish, if you're just now joining us over on Instagram. But it was one of those things that it was like, okay, if nothing else, he loves his kids and he's parenting in a way that he wasn't loud, he wasn't fussing, he was instilling principles in his son, he was making sure he was level-headed, not an entitled kid. And it was an amazing thing to watch. And so that's my reflection on Kevin. And Tiffany's one is what you see is what you get. And then one of the other things that was heartwarming, I told the email list, was Romany Malco. I was telling the Mavericks last night, Romany Malco, who's also in Think Like a Man. If you see Romany, you'll recognize Romany. And Romany, the first day I met Romany, he and I just hit it off. He was mad cool. And, I'm the world's greatest hugger. So I would hug my cast. I would hug the cast. I would hug the crew. I just go around hugging people. And it got to the point, like, we would get to set, and the days that Romany was on set, I could have my back turned and I'd feel this tap on my shoulder, and I'd turn around and Romany is standing there like, I'm ready for my hug today. And so, I would hug him. He was like, oh, I needed that. And Romany was that type of dude that he would do anything I asked him to do for the sake of comedy, for the sake of it, making it a good shot. He would do anything I asked him to do. So those are my key reflections on Night School. I got to work with Al Madrigal, who used to be on The Daily Show. So for me, that was a full circle because I love The Daily Show. I was actually watching The Daily Show before I went live. And I got to ask him some behind the scenes questions about The Daily Show. I worked with Mary Lynn. I can never pronounce her name, but she used to play Chloe on 24. So to have that full circle moment, because I loved Chloe, to have that full circle moment that I sat down and got to talk to these people, got to interview these people. Fat Joe. Oh my God, Fat Joe. I interviewed Fat Joe at 2 a.m. in the morning one night. We were shooting so late. 2 a.m. in the morning. Amazing, man. It took all of me not to go, a lean back. And so he was so sweet and so kind and so gentle and so funny. But I had a blast. It was long days, long nights. Between that and the next film that I did, I put on 16 pounds. I'm working on getting that off, but I'm glad I had the experience. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with such talent and actually get to see talent so up close and personal, and get to know that they were good, cool people. Good, cool people. Kathy says, was he the one dating Megan Good and Think Like a Man? I forget his character, but he was one of a bald head. He lives in Puerto Rico. Romany lives in Puerto Rico. He's in a new show. I think it's on ABC called A Million Little Things. His new show that just aired I think it aired on Sunday. So he's on a series now. So that's my reflections from, being the behind the scenes producer of Night School. And I loved it. I really did. I met just really great people. All right. So with that said, I want to switch gears. Dr. Sonia says, girl, don't worry about them 16 pounds. Yeah, I ain't digging the 16 pounds because it's making me not healthy. But I'm getting them off. They're coming off slowly but surely because I was eating good. Craft service. The woman who actually handled the craft service, and if you don't know what craft service is the snacks, all the snacks and everything that happens on a film set is different than catering. Craft service was the bomb, so much so that for my event in Atlanta, Serve the Media, the woman who handled craft service is catering my event. That's how good her food was. I was just like, Kiki, your food is amazing. I want to have you cater. And so she actually agreed to do it for me. So I'm excited about that. All right, so let's turn the corner. And because I don't think I'm not publicly really shared my experience on Night School. I'll post some pictures later on Facebook too, and on Instagram. I'll post some pictures from that I can share on the set because there's a lot of legal issues and things that we can share. So I'll post some of those pictures of what I can. And the other thing that was amazing, and I'll say this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it, was that I co-wrote a script that I had to go to Will Packer. Will Packer is the producer of Girls Trip. So mind you, this was my first time being the behind the scenes producer. I hadn't even been in this genre for 10 years. I'd been in the genre when I did Shrek, Chronicles of Narnia, Princess Diaries, The Incredibles, all of that. But it had been 10 years since I've been on this genre. And I had never been in the capacity of being the behind the scenes producer. I was always in post producing. I wasn't on the set. And so one day we had a mandate from Universal that we needed to get Kevin to do something. So my boss and I wrote this script that I had to then take to go to Will Packer, who is the producer of Girls Trip, and he was the producer of Night School. And to stand there and watch Will Packer read something you wrote, and he goes, this is good. I'll approve it. We'll get Kev to do it. I'll get Kev to do it right now. And to then stand there and be within 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet of watching Kevin Hart spew words that you had just kind of written. It was kind of like, whoa, this is kind of a bit surreal. It's like, wow, this is Kevin, love him, like him, don't, whatever. You can't deny he is the top box office comedian right now, period. He's selling out arenas right now. Nobody is doing that. He's selling out arenas, stadiums. So I'm standing there looking at this comedic rock star with a work ethic beyond compare, and he's reading and recording something that I had just co-written with my boss. So it was like, I'm good. Like, this is good for me. So anyway, what we were the media tip, thanks for indulging me. I really wanted to share that because I know some of you didn't even know because I kept it a secret for the longest. I'm not sure if y'all even know what my next film was when I was spending 5 months in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 5 months and I did night school first. I didn't tell anybody, but I gave adventures kind of sort of in my Noisemaker squad. And then I moved right out of that into another big film that's with some big heavyweights that's coming out in 2019. So I'll tell you about that publicly closer to that date. But Tiffany, I caught this clip of Tiffany answering. She won an Emmy for her hosting on Saturday Night Live, right? And a reporter asked her a question, and folks were in arms about how she answered it. And I looked at it and I had my own opinion. So I shared it on Facebook and asked for y'all to tell me, was it a hit or miss? So Instagram, you won't be able to see the screen, but Facebook will, but maybe you should be able to hear it. And it's a very short clip. So let's see. Let me switch it around. Okay, so I'm going to go now and play.
Yes.
Hi, Tiffany. Abby with People Magazine.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, Abby.
So the opening was great with all the talk of diversity and how it's the most diverse group of nominees ever. But Twitter right now kind of seems to have a backlash about how there have been only white winners tonight and how we still have so far to go. And there were so many wonderful actors and writers in all of the different categories that were nominated. Do you have any thoughts of how we kind of get to that next hurdle?
Girl, no, I'm not, I don't know how to do that. I didn't go to college for that. I didn't even go to college for nor do I know how to solve problems like that. If you was asking me how to structure a joke, I could help you with that part. But what you talking about right now, I don't know. All I know is how to do my job. That's somebody else's job. I don't know that. I don't know. Can't answer that one for you. But I won.
So, Instagram, I hope you can hear that basically. But I mean, the comments were, polar opposite. We had some people saying they were tired of her being the ghetto girl, or she should have given a more profound answer. She should have answered. They ran the gamut. I wish I thought to actually screenshot some of this. So like Felicia says, she gave an honest answer. I cannot bash her for being honest. If she doesn't have, here, let me just put it up there. If she doesn't have the answer, she doesn't have the answer. She may have had an option on it or she may not. We cannot force her to have an answer. Who else typed in something about her answer? Let me see if there's anybody else here in the Facebook comments. Anybody else got anything? Makeda says, I think she handled it appropriately. Let me see. Anybody else comment on how her answer is on this particular thread? Okay. Julia says she was on brand. Anybody else got anything to say before I give my comment? Kathy says, I think she was giving her truth. Everyone can't be an advocate for change. Anybody else want to have comments before I say what I have to say? I'll give you in 10, because I know it's a delay. So I'm going to give you in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll give you my take. Oh, wait, here's one. MF Crep says, sounds to me that she was mad at someone and finally let loose. She was probably asked the same question a few times. Here's what I have to say. Oh, Charlotte says, I think that was not why she was there. Okay, so here's what I have to say. Here's what I have to say about a comment. And it's what Julia said. She was on brand. That's Tiff. That's her. That was her all day. Listen, one of the things that I teach Media Mavericks, let me put this back on screen. One of the things I teach, hold on. One of the things I teach big time is the fact that always in every single interview, show up as who you are, not who you think they want you to be. Matter of fact, I just did a webinar today. And I drilled that point home. Always show up as who you are and not who you think they want you to be. Tiff is a comedian. She stayed in her lane. She answered the question. You could tell how she even started it. She was like, I didn't go to college for that. Now, if you want to talk about how to structure a joke, I got you. But she stayed in her lane. We can want to impose what we think she should have done all we want. But if that's not her lane, that's no different. It kills me. And some of y'all know this. It cracks me up every time that I get people on, either in my noisemaker squad, people ask me questions, or when I get them on my 20-minute strategy sessions, which are called B12 shots. Inevitably, I'll get people asking me questions and I'm going, what in the world would make you think I know the answer to that? Like my last one, this man asked me, how do I get more speaking engagements for the Los Angeles School District? And we both fell out laughing because I was like, I don't know. That's not my lane. I teach media. I don't know. I don't even know what I've done out there to make you think that I know the answer to this question. I have gotten y'all fooled that you think I know everything. Now, what he came back with, though, is he fell out laughing. And then he was like, I got to respect you for that. Because a lot of people would have tried to figure out an answer, would have tried to come up with something to make themselves, look bigger than what they are. But you didn't. I stay in my lane. And for me, that's what I would have coached Tiffany to do. If you don't have a well thought out answer, you don't have to be the poster girl for Black Hollywood. If that's not you, if you're not on the front lines and if you're not an advocate, then it's okay. Now, I would have, if I was her coach, we would have practiced maybe a different way to answer that towards the end, but it still would have had Tiffany's brand of humor in it. I would not have taken away anybody who has coached with me one-on-one. Julia, you can attest to that. When you have coached with me one-on-one, Shy is over here, one of my mini media mavericks. When you have coached me one-on-one, I don't give you the words to say. I don't give you your answer. I ask you the question. I tell you to tell me in your own words, and then I'll work on crafting it powerfully. But the thought is still yours. So if I was coaching Tiff on that level of being her media coach and how to field these answers, I would have definitely helped her craft something. Yes, Julia says Romany would have had something to say. Yes, Romany is an advocate. We would have expected Romany to handle that. But I think it's a lot of pressure to expect someone to act outside of who they have shown us they are. And I gave her kudos for just staying within her lane. Now, she could have answered. She could have gone a little more in depth. But now her team should maybe prep her for an answer when it comes, so it can sound a little more thoughtful. But I did not dislike the answer she gave in this moment, because she was on brand. And I love the way she said, ask me how to craft a joke. I got you. That's my lane. I don't know. That's not what people come to me for. People don't come to me for strategy. They go to Reneka. People don't come to me for accounting. That's Bernadette. People don't come to me about real estate. That's Idris. They don't. They come to me about publicity and media and storytelling, how to become confident on camera. I am not going to I have my thoughts and opinions and ideas, but I'm not going to put, especially in that she had just won an Emmy. That's the other thing. She had just won an Emmy, and all of a sudden she's expected. It's like, can the baby enjoy her moment? It was her first Emmy. And so she didn't want to field deep questions. I had a great day on Saturday, and one of my friends who's very left brain and very business, he wanted to talk business. And I was in a mode of celebrating. I was watching the numbers for night school, that it was the number one. And I had to tell him, I'm not doing business today. I'm celebrating. And I didn't feel guilty about it, because that's not my lane. That's not what my default place is. I need creatives. We need room to celebrate. And here she had just won one of the biggest, awards of her career. And all of a sudden, people are trying to take her into being political, where she could have gotten herself in trouble. She would have ticked off a lot of people. Instead, she can go home knowing she was just herself. She was true to herself. So as a media coach, I totally approve how she handled it. She spun them with, I tell jokes. That's what people pay me for. And we can wish all day that she had used her platform to do this and to do that. This is my personal opinion. I do not expect anybody to be an advocate to use their platform for anything that is outside their scope of genius. I don't feel bad. I don't really, how dare they, if you making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you can afford, and you got tons and tons of followers. Yes, I would like you to speak out on social injustice, but I'm not mad at you if you don't. That's your life. If that's not your lane to follow, all the stats, and especially with social media, it's like, you got to have your game tight. You got to follow the stats. You need to know the history, what happened with the Republicans, what happened with the Democrats in 89, I ain't got time for all of that. That's just not me. I have an opinion about it. I have a thought about it, but a lot of times I defer to the people who know history and study this thing. And then I go and ask them, give me the backstory, give me this. So again, for me, I always teach my Mavericks, no matter what, show up as who you are and not who you think they want you to be. This is the last example I'll give you. When I got booked to do TBN. TBN, for those of you who don't know, is the largest Christian network service, television network. And I knew that TBN is conservative. And so in my head, I was like, okay, I need to wear a dress. I need to make sure that dress comes below my knees, even though I don't really wear dresses a lot. I wear sundresses and things like that. But my Media Maverick uniform consists of Chuck Taylors and, T-shirts or what have you. But I was like, this is TBN. I need to, be conservative and whatever. And so it dawned on me that, wait a minute, I'm being hypocritical to what I teach my clients. I teach my clients, don't show up as who I think they want me to be. Show up as who I am. So I ended up pulling my team together. They made me a really pretty yellow T-shirt that said hashtag I am a noisemaker. We ripped off the sleeves and made big puffy sequin sleeves, of all different kind of sequin. And for me, that empowers me. If I had been sitting there in that dress, it would have affected my energy. It would have affected, how crazy I can get. I wouldn't have been high-fiving the host like I would. I wouldn't have been laughing and, all of that. I would have, made sure, can't nobody see up the dress. I would be concerned about, can anybody see up the dress? That would have stolen my energy. But because I got some get right, and showed up still conservative, still covered, but still in a uniform that's more fitting for TJ personality, for TJ brand, I showed up and knocked the interview out the park. Had a great time. So your media tip, if you don't remember nothing else, when you do interviews, show up as who you are, not who you think they want you to be. Okay? If you loud and rambunctious, show up. Don't all of a sudden go conservative. I am TJ Mercer first. I just happen to be a media beast. Julia is Julia first. She just happens to be a beast in branding and merging faith with marketplace. Whatever who you are, let your personality show up first. I'm getting ready to cover that in depth in our upcoming class with Media Mavericks Masters. But for those of you, when you're looking to do media, you are who happens to be whatever your expertise is. Don't forget that. All right. Tracy says it's also important to realize that people can grow to be advocates. It can come about, but who would advocate those who would advocate those who bash her? I'm missing the last part, but yeah, Tracy, we all evolve. All of us. You get older, you get more mature, you develop, you decide what's important to you, and you grow from there. So she absolutely may end up turning into an advocate. That's her choice. But in this moment, I'm happy with who she is and who she showed us she is. She was consistent. She was consistent of who she was. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I'm doing my first live event in Atlanta on October 27th called Serve the Media. It is an all-day publicity boot camp where we are going to dig deep, and I'm going to show you how to pimp your PR, baby. So if you are interested in going, somebody type in the chat for me, servethemedia.com, servethemedia.com. It has all the details. October 8th is the last day for early bird. So if you want early bird and get a discount, you may want to get on over there and do the darn thing. So make sure you do that. And I think we have 11 spots left for VIP. So make sure if you want to roll VIP, go ahead and do that. And it includes lunch as well. And it's in downtown Atlanta on October 27th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Servethemedia.com. Thanks, Makeda. Thanks, MF Kreps, for posting that in the comments for me. So with that said, anybody got questions, comments? If not, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for coming to play with me. We're going to count it down as I always do. Instagram, thanks for joining me. For those of you who may be joining for the first time, thanks for coming and rocking with us, sister. I'm here pretty much every Monday for Media Maverick Monday. Media Maverick Monday. All right, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I should go slower, I think, because I forget Facebook's delay is pretty bad. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Night, guys. See you next week.